Well, hello there, Scholarly Gamers, and welcome to another episode of Jungle Drums. This is actually episode number 50. Yes, 50 episodes. Now, of course, I have been running every single week, although it's been pretty darn close to it, but it has, definitely been almost a year since I started recording Jungle Drums, and it's been just a really fun thing to do each week, talking about gaming, talking about tech news. Sometimes, yes, unfortunately, I'm on my own, but most of the time, I'm joined by a great gang of people. So for episode number 50, I wanted to do something just a little bit different. Rather than talk about the latest and greatest tech and gaming news, I instead thought I would invite a very special guest, a tech whiz, a master of IT. And in fact, you know what? I'll just let the man introduce himself.
Well, thank you very much for having me on this week. It's always a pleasure to tune in and catch things. My name is Marcus, and I'm one of the two guys that run Scholarly Gamers. And I head up the IT, the infrastructure, all the tech wizardry, so to say, behind the scenes. And not too much else to explain, just a hobby.
Yes. See, as per usual, Marcus, you're always very modest and selling yourself short. But yes, the master of IT. Yes, Marcus is indeed, the man behind the mask, so to speak, when it comes to a lot of the technical aspects of Scholarly Gamers. I really just want to kind of, ask you about Scholarly Gamers. How did this idea come about to you guys? What was the thinking behind it?
Well, Matt and I, we've been friends nearly 20 years now, since we were just, grade 5 or 6 or something like that. And from a pretty young age, we would just play video games together. We took programming classes together in high school, university. We went to the same school, and we'd hang out, play games, and, Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, all the super fun stuff. And as we both delved into academia and we're finding our craft a little bit more, then we realized that it would be a lot of fun to take that step away from the clickbait articles, top 10 reasons you might like Mario's hat or something like that, and look into why something is the way it is as opposed to how. So Matt, I believe, was the guy that really pitched the nomenclature. He'd been running the Scholarly Gamer brand for a while for his own channel, and he wanted to take care of the streaming and engage with the community and really build up a group of like-minded people. So he figured he would run the HR side of things, the personal, the interpersonal, and the energetic side. And
Matt, energetic? Get out of here!
Unbelievable. Half of our Discord bot commands are all just pictures of Matt acting outlandishly. But and so we had Steve, who was going to work on video stuff and weekly content production, and then I would do site design, some writing, and that kind of stuff. And it grew from the three of us to asking other people if they wanted to be in, and then other people asked if they could be part of it, and we've grown and grown and grown. So we're over a dozen writers and nearly 3 dozen streamers right now, and it seems to just be picking up speed.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's I was fortunate myself where I was invited ages ago by Matt, because I was the same. I used to tune in to his streams when I could and whatnot, and just have it was nice to actually engage with someone on that platform that you could have an intelligent conversation with, rather than just most of the kind of, I hate saying shit posting, but you know what I mean. Like, you get a lot of folks. Sometimes there's good conversations that happen in streams. I'm not saying that they're all like that. Don't get me wrong. It was just the way, I think, that first impression of like asking a question, and then the way it was explained back to me, stuff like, oh wow, hey, this is my cup of tea. I can get into that. But no, the thing that kind of blown me away was more the website. The concept of this collection that was a multi-pronged effort, like you say, with when there's articles, so there's some really good read material, but then also the live streaming side of things, and then of course also the video content side of things, which obviously we're trying to develop more as time goes on. But I mean, what kind of how much of a headache is that on the IT side of things? Getting all these moving parts kind of put together, especially with the website itself. Because I mean, looking at the website, and like personally, I've always found it very aesthetically pleasing. It's quite minimalist, but at the same time, there's some great features. Like when you hover over the thumbnails here, and it just gives you that little dynamic zoom in. All the information is right where it needs to be. It's laid out nice and cleanly with the featured articles and reviews up at the near the top, then latest news, stream information, video, and then of course our little sub menus. I mean, what was talk me through this, your website, the web design of it. How did that come about?
Well, for the web design stuff, I work with a business partner on our own little IT business, and we do a lot of WordPress web design. Our business mantra, if you will, is quality systems done affordably. So by engaging content from the WordPress platform, 90% of the site design is already done for us. That you would just be cookie cuttering for every subsequent client, homepage, background files, back infrastructure to log in, all of that stuff is handled already. So because it's centered for blogs, which is obviously a series of posts, then WordPress it fits scholarly gamers quite well. Mm-hmm. And in my professional side of web dev, then we license a number of themes and plugins and other things that we use for many clients, and I could repurpose a few of those for scholarly gamers as well.
Okay.
So, themes, this is just, one of the themes available that's taken a fair amount of customizing just to get it away from this, cookie cutter presentation, and we're kind of refining it a little bit. But you might notice that the website hasn't really changed a whole lot in the last year, which is kind of uncommon for a system like this. You would expect, big changes coming around every few months as you refine and all that. But we're actually working towards a full website rebuild. And that's all happening in the back end on a test server. And, sometime down the line, once we think it's really good and a little more homebrewed for the Scholarly Gamers brand and everything we offer, then we'll start rolling that out for sure.
Oh wow, hey, that's awesome. So an exclusive little tidbit of information there. I like it. I like it. No, that'll be cool. I mean, like you say, WordPress it's a really good platform, I would say, for us. I mean, obviously for readers and visitors to the site, it's easy to use and aesthetically pleasing, but I mean, for all of us content creators, the actual content management system that it has seems to be just a really good system there, where I can write up a draft and then submit it to one of the editors for review, and then likewise they can ping it back and whatnot. It just seems like a good system for a collection of people, of so many contributors.
Well, certainly, yeah. It's a lot of people will joke, jack of all trades, but master of none. But WordPress is very finely tuned towards the blog style, which we're leaning into. So, yeah, exactly as you said, the ability to generate a post and save it as a draft and then submit it for edits, it all works within our procedural chain. And it's very logically oriented, and I think that speaks to scholarly gamers as a whole as well. Just that simple but refined approach.
Yes. No, absolutely. Because like you say, when it comes to nowadays, yes, there's a lot of websites that do it, but really in the video world, when you look at a lot of YouTube videos and whatever, the ones that go viral and really, really get a lot of hits tend to be, using a lot of kind of clickbait tactics. And, you know, it's the same like with most articles as well. Like, you look around and there'll be some kind of, you know, shock headline to get you to click. And I think that's what has really excited me about the concept of Scholarly Gamers when, you know, I first heard about what the plans were, and saw that, you know, it actually focused on content. As you say, like an article, it isn't just a case of, oh, just writing something for the sake of it, but actually, you know, whether it's analyzing something or, I'll use Sheldon as a, you know, the Unbearable Gamer as a prime example, you know, with his series Armchair Gaming, where using the, you know, the vehicle that is video games to take us on a journey through philosophy is just what a, you know, a fantastic concept. It is just, just brilliant. But yeah, same even with the reviews. You know, I like how, you know, most of the reviews that I've read on the website, you know, when people write them up, it's not just a simple, oh yes, this looks good and blah 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 blah. You know, it seems most of the writers do really tend to go in a bit of detail and maybe apply, you know, some type of lens to the review, so to speak. Well, you know, while still trying to be, you know, the meat of the matter at the same time, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things, just to touch on that point where everyone applies this lens of theirs, I think having such a diverse staff as we do really lends itself well to our reviews, which we're building steam with. We're you know, making these inroads with developers and publishers that just send us a code just to review it. Like, we don't accept paid advertising, and we outright turn down all these people that look for, you know, paid product placement. We just we want to play games. We want to, you know, share them. And like, if you take my reviews, I often take a look at gaming mechanics and how something has evolved across entries in a series, where if you take Matt's reviews, he's looking into all the historical elements and, you know, these nuances and inter-character dynamics, really. But then you take a look at something like your review on Remothered there, where it's more about the ambiance and then the overall feel. Like, everybody brings these unique takes into the review system. I think it works really well for us.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. I mean, I think that is such, you know, one of the coolest things about the collection of people. I mean, when we think about the contributors, whether we're talking about video or writing or streaming, I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, obviously you guys are, you know, both you and Matt are in Canada, but there's plenty of folk in the States. We've got a handful of us over in the UK. I mean, I know initially we did have someone over in Australia, but they've don't have the time or whatever to keep up with us. But hey, you know, it's great, worldwide. You know, a multicultural. And I think one of the best things too is it's not just a collection of like middle-aged men either. You know what I mean? We've got a whole range of ages, and there's plenty of females. You know, plenty of ladies, girls, you know, depending on their age, that are part of the team as well. And it just, you know, it's nice to see that, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, because there's always this misconception that, you know, gamer girls are like a huge minority, you know, they're a tiny minority. There's not many girls that game. And I think it's actually more a case of, remember, you know, I mean, I know you're relatively young, but you're old enough to remember when gaming was, you know, taboo. There was a stigma about playing video games, especially once you were over a certain age, because then you were just a loser. You know, you were just some fat kid who's living in his mom's basement. You know. Whereas fast forward, and maybe it has a lot to do with the medium of video games, how they have changed. I mean, you look at, okay, you used the example there of the game that I reviewed, Remothered. That was less of a game and more of an interactive film, if you know what I mean. It was a cinematic experience. And you look at other games, things like Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, or even go back a little while, Quantum Break. Quantum Break, which I don't think it was a huge commercial success, did have a whole live action pre-recorded aspect to it. With big name guys. I mean, the dude that plays was it Aidan Gillen, the guy that plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones.
Peter Baelish.
Yeah, it's just the medium has changed. It's no longer Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. I mean, it's now these AAA cinematic experiences that some of these games have had budgets larger than movies.
Oh yeah.
And it seems as the medium has progressed more into the mainstream, it's now became more acceptable, and therefore I feel we're starting to see more of our female gamer companions actually speak up and be like, yeah, I'm a girl, I play games, it's no big deal, everyone plays games.
That's right, yeah.
Whereas before it was just quite a not unheard of, but it just folk just found it strange. I mean, I'm the same. I've got a teenage stepdaughter who just absolutely loves playing video games. Minecraft, Destiny, whatever. Just the way of the world.
Oh yeah, it's definitely changing, and certainly for the better. I mean, like you said, we've loads of people on staff, both in contributor and in streamer roles, and from all walks of life, and all sides of the gender spectrum and orientation. Like, Scholarly Gamers is ultimately an inclusive community that's we welcome everybody and we embrace it, because they all provide these alternate perspectives that myself as the straight white male, we just don't see it every day, and so it's actually quite enlightening in the best possible way.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. It's one of these things, like you say, everyone is very down to earth, but at the same time, we can have a great conversation. Because I think part of me wants to say that when people see the name, and I don't like to generalize, but it would be easy for somebody to misjudge the actual website and the collection of people just by taking that name at face value. Because if I'm not trying to be mean, but on one hand, people may argue, "Oh, doesn't that sounds pretentious? What the hell? What makes you so scholarly?" But it's it's not about that. I mean, it's quite interesting. Like, when you actually read into the ethos, when you go to the about page on the website, it gives a really good rundown that yes, when there's going to be some in-depth conversations, but also just kind of good old loose discussions. Use the
well, that's right.
The analogy
the quad, exactly. That's what I was just going to mention. Is as Matt and I were talking about setting this up, not to say that Steve wasn't involved in certain portions of it, but Matt and I went to school together, right? So we had this picture of a physical construct that we were matching these digital parts of Scholarly Gamers to, where we said, we used to just hang out by the quad, where at our university it was in between all the res buildings. There's a big field, access to the river where people go swimming or rowing for the rowing team. Access to the cafeteria and the campus pub. Like, that was the quad. It was the social space. And then when we were talking about myself writing tech talks and getting into the nitty gritty about engine development, I was picturing my computer science department at that school, where he was picturing the history department, which was just down the hall in the same building, but we had this physical space to envision, and we kind of broke it apart like that during the initial setup phase, which was kind of an interesting way to set that up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I like the whole kind of concept of that theme. I mean, it's funny you say that, because I'm working on an idea with the Unbearable Gamer, and still trying to hash out names and whatnot. But we were looking at how, yes, there's jungle drums where usually we're talking about news, right? It's a news show. It's about the latest and greatest in tech and gaming. But then when you look at Armchair Gaming, and that's all about philosophy, and it's absolutely fantastic, and that's very different. And then of course the Fundamentals series, which is also more a very technical and kind of targeted thing. We were discussing the idea of having something different, which is just a collaborative type thing where whether it's just having a chat or this, that, and this, and we're coming up with ideas, and the big problem, as per usual, is trying to find direction. And I was just kind of saying, well, look, it's not going to be news because we've already got a show that does that. It's got to be something else. So we're toying around with the idea, well, the name at the minute, but I was thinking to tie in with the whole scholarly gamers scene. Of basically the show itself would have a main title, but then whatever we're doing that week is almost like a subtitle, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
But so the main title I was just thinking was Extra Credit.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because that kind of implies either extracurricular activities or however we're going to take that. But then depending on what happens, because we're only considering maybe doing it once a month, because obviously we've both got projects that we work on.
No kidding, yeah.
Yeah, so trying to balance a collaborative attempt every week, it's be setting ourselves up for failure. But this kind of idea of doing something like that, where, for example, say if we're oh god, what were some ideas here? Like I'm trying to think, where were they at? Yeah, for example, depending on what we're doing, like here were some title examples, like Extra Credit, golfing with friends. Extra Credit, beer and brawling. Extra Credit, the gaming industry. Extra Credit, why are games easy? Extra Credit, balancing work and life. It could be whatever the heck you want to talk about, but it would just be more of a general type of talk show that, my kind of trying to look in the future would be something that, yes, it's something that Unbearable and me and I are thinking about, but when it comes to actual development and participation, it's something that we try to just get as many people as we can involved in the future, because in that way it can be, whatever. Like, say you, for example, you want to do a very tech heavy thing that could be Extra Credit, then insert techie title there. But it's just a concept, again, very, very early stage concept. But
I like where that's going, though. I think you've mentioned that to me not too long ago, just kicking around ideas for where we're moving next. And I can see that being something that that a lot of our crew really engages with, right? Because we have so many streamers that have the just that experience of quote unquote being on camera, whether or not they're actual cam streamers or not, or people that write these articles and delve into the core concepts on what makes a game tick, or a series or a feature or whatever it is. I think that would go pretty well for what we generally aim for moving forwards.
Yeah, no, like I said, it could be. There's so many different ways, to do it. Whether it's a case of actually just having cams and just having a chat, or actually doing it whilst playing a game together. Because that's what Unbearable was thinking. Like, oh, well, you're actually getting together and playing, like, something, whatever, golf, right? But having a chat about something whilst we're playing a game or something. So.
It kind of sounds like you and I might have done something like that not too long ago.
Well, yes, very much so.
Stay tuned for future articles on The Division by yours truly.
Yes, Marcus and I are good old Division buddies. It's just time zones, or they're in the way. Time zones, and, well, my school and your work just stop us.
We're about 7 hours apart?
Yes, yeah. It's just gets in our way. Gets in our way. I am trying to think. So what's kind of the goal, I suppose, with Scholar Gamers? Where do we hope to be? Where would you like to see Scholarly Gamers, say 5 years from now?
5 years, geez.
Well,
Okay.
that's quite. I suppose that's quite far. Okay, let's keep it simple, right then, because we know the website had launched on what date was
April
it?
10th.
April 10th. So, okay, April's only well 2 months away. It's only around the corner, and
Yeah, we're 10 years out of, or 10 months out of the gate now.
it'd be too easy to ask you because I mean, come on, let's be honest. We've in this last 10 months we have seen all sorts of things happen and some great inroads have been made with different areas, whether it's devs, publishers, people wanting to join, as you say. But so that's too easy of a question. But if you think about, say, next year, what do we hope to, or what do you hope to see Scholarly Gamers accomplish from April 2018 through April 2019?
Well, I think that's definitely a much more um, attainable vision for me to kind of conjure a little bit. Um, I mean, right now where we are, it's miles past where I expected we would be. I never figured that we would have 4 dozen volunteers working on streaming or writing or video production or anything to that degree when we were first getting this started. So we're almost at 100,000 page hits. We've been in 150 countries now, with visitors coming that aren't those little bots that just kind of crawl the page and leave a little crumb trail. Um, so we're already further than where I expect we would be, and that's only gaining momentum. So though I can't speak to Matt's vision or the community at large, I can only really speak to my own. Is I'd like to see the website refined. I'd love to see streamers, especially, getting a little more representation. That's something I've been working pretty hard on to get a cohesive streaming page together. And some of you schmucks on Mixer that that don't have a dedicated plugin made for you, I've got to work some way for that. Um, Google has made a big shift lately in making rich data rank better. So we're going back over all of our old articles, that some of these things that have only been in front of a dozen eyes or less, and hoping to find a way to kind of let that sift up through some of the rabble that you'd find on a search engine. So I think as we build steam and we get in front of more people's eyes and we expand our Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and Xbox community and PlayStation community and Steam community even, to say nothing of the Discord, then I think we're just going to see a lot more people engaging in something that isn't catering quite to the basis level of that clickbait, of that just rapid fire content generation for the hell of pushing ads. Because you'll notice our website doesn't have a single ad on it. Scholarly Gamers as a whole hasn't made a single penny, and it's not for lack of offers, it's for lack of interest in generating income that way. So some of those core things I think we're going to carry forward into the next year, and I hope it really shows our dedication to the craft as opposed to the dollar that the craft can earn.
Yes, I mean, I think you bring up a very, very key aspect there, that maybe there's every good chance that viewers and readers might not actually know that absolutely everyone at Scholar Gamers is doing what they do on a voluntary basis. There is no kickbacks, right? There's no money involved here. It's just out of sheer passion, whether that's passion for gaming, whether that's a passion for writing, for streaming, creating videos. It's just awesome stuff.
Well, certainly. I mean, it's something that Matt and I, we always try to make sure that everybody feels appreciated for the effort they're investing, because it is, in fact, an investment. I mean, I'm sure you recall ExposureGate from years ago, where all these people were being asked to put their profession out for free in exchange for exposure. We won't pay you for this one, but someone will pick you up and it'll be an even bigger opportunity. It sounds like we try to hire people like that, but we specifically refer to Exposure Gate and say, we can't pay you. We're not offering you exposure. We're just offering you a position in a community that's looking to build itself. And, I donate the server resources to run the website, and Matt donates a ton of stuff for the giveaways to, welcome people in and, draw fans to Twitch channels, and not just his own. And, people donate time and their resources, and, it's all just a labor of love for everybody that's working here. And I think that that certainly shows through in many regards, I think.
No, yeah, I would absolutely have to agree. Yes, it's been a fabulous journey so far, and cannot wait to see just how things progress. I mean, even for me on a personal level, it's been great fun. It's been just something that was initially just something fun to do here and there to just now it's it's just part of my daily regime where excited to see what's coming out next and who's writing what, and seeing who's streaming, opportunities that have arisen. I mean, I was able to go to Insomnia last year, which I was going to be going to anyway, but by using, well, not using, but by pitching, to them, saying, well, look, actually, I represent this website, Scholarly Gamers, this, that, and this, and they gave me a press pass, well, 2 press passes, and that was great, being able to go to an actual gaming event here in the UK with a press badge on. It was fantastic.
I believe it. Yeah.
It was really cool, because what they did was, you got in before the event even started. You just, flashed your press pass, and then we were able to walk around, and before the general public came in, and just have a good walk around and look at things. So it was pretty cool. And then same with doing reviews. It's just this. We talk about not getting paid, but to be honest, the opportunities, if you're interested in reviewing games, if you can string a few sentences together, right, and actually, review a game. I mean, even we've discussed before, haven't we, about the look, even streamers can get involved in this, where they can review a game on stream, or if you're a YouTuber out there, do a video review, right? And I mean, the joy is, the games that, well, not all of them, but a few of the games that I have reviewed have been, provided by the publisher. So not only am I getting a free game, right? So awesome.
That's right.
And then getting, to write it and a little bit of exposure. I mean, it's like you say, it's not about that, but whenever getting, use the Euro Trucker one as an example. When that just got picked up by SES Software, they ended up on Facebook, had posted saying, "Oh, look, Scholarly the Gamers, did this review," and it just the activity for that day just skyrocketed. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, I think that was our second best performing day out of the whole site's history, was when that one piece just got shared to, was it 250,000 people or something like that? It was massive.
It shows you. It shows you. I mean, we've even, you look at everyone else's reviews, and there's several of the reviews that are actually featured on the Steam product pages for games, and so that's, this might not sound like, big deals to people, but for those of us on the team, it's just huge, to see that on Steam, there's a game there, and a review that, either you've written or someone has written is actually, the dev, the publisher has chosen to list it there. It's just really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side of the coin there, one of our most, or my personal proudest moments for us, was when Ubisoft gave us a handful of codes for Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
And if you know Matt Ferguson, you know that he is the world's largest Assassin's Creed fan. I mean, when they brought out the multiplayer in, I think it was, Assassin's Creed 2, but maybe in Brotherhood or Revelations, he was nationally ranked as a tournament participant. And, every single one has been a day one purchase, and he sees it all the way through. And in our first year of operations, we received pre-release codes for Assassin's Creed for review. And it was phenomenal to have that happen for him. You see something happen for somebody you really want to root for, and it was just amazing. So that kind of thing, even though Ubisoft isn't sending us a $10,000 check saying, hey, we would love for you to review this game nicely, they send us a code, we review it, we send it back to them, and, it works out for everybody. I think it's really great.
Yeah, no, it's really, really, really cool. Really a great team to be part of. And so with you guys at the helm, I'm sure we'll be absolutely fine.
No, appreciate that.
I'm not sucking up to my boss. Don't judge me, viewers.
Evidently not.
Well, hey, look, Marcus, I really appreciate you talking with me this week. I've taken up, I think, enough of your time. I know you've got a little bit. Put this in a perspective, folks. Marcus's free time is so limited. He works hard. Of course, he's got a loving wife and whatnot. So he needs to. Just the fact that he's been able to slice out this bit of time for us today is just speaks volumes for the man's character. So thank you very much, sir.
Not at all. Appreciate you having me on here. And 50th episode of Jungle Drums. It's only once you get to feature on that one, right? So
hey, yeah, see, there you go.
Appreciation goes both ways. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Folks, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the rest of the site, scholargamers.com. We, of course, this week had a fresh episode of Armchair Gaming, episode 13, Art, Aesthetics, and Games. Part 1. I don't know if it's a 2-parter or a 3-parter, but we'll just have to see how far Sheldon's going to go with it. But pretty neat. You need to watch that. If you have not watched any of Armchair Gaming, look, you're living life wrong. You need to go check out that playlist. You can, of course, see it on the website, scholargamers.com, or, of course, visit the Scholar Gamers YouTube channel. There's a handy little playlist there that has all of the Armchair Gaming episodes that you can watch at your leisure. I think that is going to do it for this week's episode, Jungle Drums number 50. The next big one will be 100, so we'll just have to see. We're going to have to kind of double the ante for 100 market. We've got a long time to think about it. We've got about a year to try to plan, but we'll have to do something crazy for 100. So we will. But hey, Scholar Gamers, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you again next week. We will go back to a normal show, because I know last week I did the Monster Hunter thing, and of course this week we did a little bit of an interview. But next week we will get back on the latest and greatest tech and gaming news, because there has been a few developments, especially with AMD Ryzen, the new APUs, or rather, the fact that they don't work. But anyway, we'll talk about that next week. As always, thanks for watching, and take care.